Ida for still going to my sister's wedding after my husband canceled my plane ticket. Here's the situation. My husband 36 and I 30 have 3 kids 2, 4, 7. I'm a Sam full-time and I take care of the kids while my husband works full-time. My sister's wedding was last week. We live hours away, which is an issue for my husband. When we first got the invite, he told me that he wasn't going, that he will stay for the kids, and suggested I do the same. Since the wedding doesn't allow kids, and my husband doesn't want to hire a babysitter after the one we had robbed us. We had gone back and forth on this. But I insisted on going since that's my only sister and I want to attend what might be a once-in-a-lifetime event for her. He chuckled at my statement, then we stopped talking about it. As the wedding was approaching, he brought it up and told me to miss it and stay with the kids. I suggested that since no babysitters were allowed then, I could get my friend to stay with the kids, but he refused. I ignored him, spoke to my friend who agreed to watch the kids, and booked a ticket to travel to my sister's town in time. My husband found out and went on about how he had work, and that the most logical solution is that I stay home with the kids and let him make his living. I told him that I already took care of the kids and they'll stay with my friend. Honestly, I grew impatient. The day of my flight, I dropped the kids off at my friend's place, then headed to the airport. I found out he had canceled my plane ticket. I was upset but still insisted on going, so I went home and got into my car and drove for hers to get to the town. At 5 p.m., my husband called and was freaking out on me, asking where I was. I told him I made it to my sister's town and he blew up saying I wasn't supposed to go. Even said he canceled my ticket to get me to stay. He demanded I return, but I said not until the wedding was over. He called me horrible, neglectful mom, then had his mom scold me and accuse me of abandoning my own kids. There was a huge argument ensued when I returned home, and my husband kept on saying I was horrible to leave the kids and to ignore him like that and do what I wanted eventually. He's giving me silent treatment as of now and I can no longer take it. I felt guilty and did not enjoy the wedding at all. Was I wrong for still going? Info: my husband dislikes my sister if it's relevant. Comments: financial abuse. Yep, isolating you from loved ones. Yep, controlling behavior. Yep, NTA, and please leave it. He should be required to give you child support and alimony. You are not neglectful. Your kids were taken care of. Horrible, neglectful mom from the man that did everything he could to not have to parent his own kids for a weekend. Your relationship is not healthy. He is manipulating and controlling. Hopefully the comments here open your eyes. NTA, run. Run now. He's controlling and isolating you from family. You're already beholden to him as the breadwinner, and he cancels a plane ticket to force you to stay away from your family, then has his mother scold you. You need to get out of there ASAP. Ida for not wanting to take my adopted siblings on a trip with my biological siblings. Out of my biological siblings, in the youngest, my parents decided to become foster parents once I left for university, which led to them adopting 2 girls and a boy. I have nothing against my adopted siblings, but they're much younger than me and I don't see them often, so it's been hard to form a sibling bond with them. My biological siblings and I are going on a trip soon. I thought it was just going to be the 3 of us, but my sister told our parents about it, and they asked if we could take the little ones too. My sister agreed, but I said I would prefer if they weren't invited, as I didn't want to spend the whole trip babysitting them. My parents and sister think I'm being selfish and exaggerating how much watching they'll need, since the oldest is 15 and the youngest is 12. My dad said it would be a good opportunity for me to get to know them better and form a sibling bond, but I told him I really didn't want to take them with us. My brother is on my side, but I was wondering if him and Comments: you planned an adult trip. Your parents just want free babysitting. This up. It's very clear your parents just want the kids gone for a while. Tell your sister if she feels comfortable watching them, she can plan a trip with them and take care of them. but this is an adult trip you plan with your adult siblings. You can go on a trip and leave children on their own, which means you have to take them everywhere with you as a parent. It's your responsibility to look after them, but you aren't their parents, so have every right to refuse. Maybe you should all take them out for a day or arrange a separate trip to bond, but as they aren't your kids, you are perfectly entitled to refuse to take them. Ida for getting a lawyer against my parents. So here's something I'd share. I was very close with my grandpa growing up and spent a lot of time with him. He died when I was 19, and a few years later I was looking at pieces of property. I thought I could afford an acre or two. I had over $30,000 saved up by the time I was 21. Between my parents and me, I decided to purchase a piece of property from them that they got from his estate as part of their inheritance, along with another property as well. My mom wanted some type of a down payment, so she asked how much money I had. I told her and she said, "Well, give me $30,000. I gave my mom the down payment and made payments for the next 67 years like you would pay for a mortgage. I started off giving her $1,000 a month and increased as I got better jobs. Last year I was giving her $2,500 a month. Last year someone stole from the property. A large bulldozer. I told my parents I wanted the property in my name after paying for it for 6 years. I said I'd pay the remainder that I had owed against the property. My mom wouldn't tell me how much I had paid to her over the years. Then she told me, it was X amount until we added on the excavator, which my dad decided he wanted to buy an excavator for working out at my property, but I didn't get to find out I was paying for at least half of until he purchased it like a year later. I don't recall exactly, but I think it was like 69 grand is what she said I had paid to her at the time, but it seemed quite low to me, especially now in hindsight. I went into the bank and got bank statements of every check I had given my mom over the past several years, and it added up to $113,000, which was over 90 of what I agreed to pay for the property. I told them that's what I had paid to them both separately, and my dad said, "Well, you realize that property is worth a hell of a lot more than $125,000, and I can sell it for a lot more than that. You're just entitled like all kids nowadays, just jealous of what their parents have. Don't worry about it. Either the property will end up in your name or you'll get your money back." My mom said after I accused them of stealing from me, "Well, you realize I didn't get anything after my dad died. Just those 2 properties, and the $30,000 you gave me is long gone." Then said, "Well, we can't put the property in your name. It needs to stay in the family. You don't have a will or anything. What happens if you died in a car crash or something?" Long story short, the majority of people I talked to about it just said to try and just get my money back from them and let them sell it or whatever. I didn't want the property to be sold after I'd worked out there cleaning it up for years. So I moved about 15 hours away and went no contact. I got a lawyer. After about 4 months with a lawyer, they decided to sign the paperwork to put the property in my name. Comments. NTA. And it seems like maybe you've learned a few good lessons moving forward. Don't do any kind of large transaction without a detailed contract. Don't do business with family. Yep, definitely learned multiple lessons from this situation. I wouldn't have ever thought of any transaction of this size without anything being notarized. But hey, it was family and obviously was too trusting, especially being a 21-year-old kid when I made the deal. I wouldn't have ever imagined it would have came to this. Sounds like they were taking advantage of you. You did what you had to do. Family does not mean that they always have your best interest at heart. How they responded to you. At this point, you have to do what's right for you if they aren't.